Hey there, guys. So I want to thank you, as always, for joining today's live stream. So for today, there are a few things that I do want to mention before we sort of get started with the presentation and sort of the topic that we're going to discuss today. So the first thing I do want to mention is that for a temporary amount of time, I am offering 40% off online coaching. Now, this is, of course, involves any sort of, one-on-one online coaching that you do with me, no matter what your commitment level is, no matter how long you decide to stay in the program. This is 40% off the duration of your program, depending on what you choose. If you're interested in learning more, you can schedule a consultation with me. You can send me a message and let me know a little bit more information, a little bit more about your goals, and then we can get a call scheduled for you to sort of discuss further how online coaching works. If you do have some questions or you want to learn a little bit more about online coaching and sort of its structure, you can go to my website. It's bponlinefitness.com, and you'll find a ton of information on there as far as how online coaching is structured, sort of what to expect, the different tools that you're going to be using when it comes to your workout plan, as well as nutrition and things of that nature. So there's information there. If you are interested in scheduling a consultation, there is a button when you go to the bottom of the page that says book your spot, and you can schedule your consultation. You'll just have to do a short questionnaire. You can also sign up for the email newsletter if you want to get free newsletter every week, as well as information on new promotions that may happen throughout the sort of duration of the year, whether it be like right now I have like a St. Patrick's Day sort of sale. I do sales. It kind of depends when I do them, but I try to do them seasonally. So you'll get offers. It'll let you know when a new sale is coming. You'll get information on new live streams, anything of that sort. You can find on the website. So again, I am offering 40% off online coaching temporarily until next Tuesday. So it's going through to St. Patrick's Day is the duration that I'm offering it. So if you're interested, feel free to let me know. So, with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started with today's topic, which is nutrition for muscle building. And this is very important topic to discuss, especially for somebody, of course, who is focusing on muscle gain for their particular goal. And as you know, nutrition is a key part of being successful and being able to reach your fitness goal, especially when it comes to muscle gain, because it takes both your workouts as well as your nutrition in order to reach that goal. So, some of the topics I'm going to discuss today are a wide range of topics, and are all going to pertain to the nutrition and its connection to muscle building. So, now these aren't necessarily all of the topics that I'm talking about. There's a few other topics that I'm going to discuss in this stream as well, or this discussion. So, the first topic here that I've got is essential macros. You can expect me to talk about essential macros and why essential macros are important. So, essential macronutrients are the three main categories of nutrients that the body requires in relatively large amounts to function properly: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. We're going to discuss that. Timing for nutrition. Timing in nutrition refers to strategic planning to when to consume food and nutrients in relation to various activities, particularly exercise, to optimize performance, recovery, and overall health. Hydration. Hydration is crucial for overall health and performance, including muscle gain. Proper hydration is essential for maintaining fluid balance, regulating body temperature, and transporting nutrients and helping to remove waste from the body. Micronutrients is another topic that I'm going to be discussing. Micronutrients are essential nutrients required by the body in relatively small quantities, so they're a little bit different than macronutrients. but are crucial for maintaining health, growth, development, and overall well being. Unlike macronutrients, which include carbs, proteins, and fats, micronutrients are primarily comprised of vitamins and minerals. Meal prep is the last thing I've got here. And again, I'm going to discuss other topics as well. So, meal prep is short for meal preparation, refers to the process of planning, cooking, and packaging meals in advance to make it easier to eat healthy throughout the week. Meal prep can save time, money, and stress by reducing the need for daily cooking and decision making about what to eat. So, again, these are some of the topics that I'm going to be discussing today, and I'm going to go a little bit into detail with these. So, the first topic, of course, is macros, which I've talked quite a bit about on these live streams. So, essential macros are basically, of course, proteins, carbs, and fats. These are the main nutrients, the major nutrients that the body needs. So, protein is essential for muscle repair and growth. It consists of amino acids, the building blocks of muscle tissue. When you engage in resistance training or other forms of exercise that stretch your muscles, you create micro tears in the muscle fibers. So, protein is the nutrient that is helping to build and repair and grow that muscle. So, when it comes to macros, of course, most of your intake should be based on your body weight. So, for example, if you weigh 140 pounds, you need to have your protein intake roughly at 140 grams per day in order to help with that muscle repair process and for the body to grow. If the body doesn't have that nutrient in it, then it's not going to be able to have anything to go back on to help repair the muscle. Carbohydrates, so they serve as the primary energy source for your muscles during exercise. They replenish muscle glycogen stores, which are depleted during intense workouts, providing fuel for your training sessions and promoting muscle recovery. Fats provide a concentrated source of energy, aid in the absorption of fat soluble vitamins, which are known as vitamin A, D, E, and K. And of course, they also help to regulate hormones involved in muscle synthesis and recovery. So, as you can kind of see, all of these nutrients play an essential role in the muscle recovery process, which is why it's so important to consume these nutrients daily. And of course, when it comes to each of these nutrients, you do need to keep in mind that it just kind of depends on sort of where your goal is at or sort of your body weight as well. A lot of it is kind of more focused on your body weight because that is helping to aid in that muscle repair process. So your body needs something to be able to, if you have less calories or lower calorie intake, then your body's not going to have anything to work from, if that makes sense. So when it comes to macros, a lot of it is mostly based on your body weight. And the reason why I sort of made an emphasis on protein is because protein is very important for muscle building. It's the most essential macro that you really need to focus on, especially when you're focusing on muscle gain. So the next topic we have here is time for nutrition or timing for nutrition. So consuming a meal or snack before exercise can provide the body with the necessary energy and nutrients to fuel the workout and optimize performance. The composition of pre-workout meals or snacks may vary based on the individual preferences and tolerances. Some individuals may benefit from consuming carbohydrates or other easily digestible nutrients during prolonged or intense exercise sessions to maintain energy levels and delay fatigue. So keep in mind, carbohydrates are great for energy. They are primarily focused on helping to give you energy. This is particularly relevant for endurance athletes or those engaging in prolonged bouts of exercise lasting longer than 60 to 90 minutes. So it is okay to consume something, if you're doing a more intense exercise, anything like that is very beneficial for, your workout routine. If it is extremely intense. Now, in a lot of situations, you may not need all of that. So, for example, for me, I usually always like to eat a Cliff Bar before I work out. It's kind of the thing that I do. It's something that I just it just helps to give me a little bit of energy because, of course, when you wake up, it's like you're after a long fast because it's not been since yesterday that you ate. And so usually I eat that in the morning a little bit before I work out in order to give me a little bit of energy. And then I also drink pre workout, which also helps with energy as well. So that's totally fine. Anything like that is totally fine to sort of get you going, I guess I should say. And if you're doing a longer duration of workouts, that's completely fine to sort of integrate carbs or anything like that in between your routine or before your routine when you get started. Hydration is another essential thing. So, water content muscles are primarily made of water, and adequate hydration ensures that your muscles remain properly hydrated. So, protein synthesis is another thing that is beneficial or that benefits from hydration. So, hydration is necessary for protein synthesis, which is the process by which your body builds new muscle tissue. Nutrient delivery. Water helps to transport nutrients such as amino acids, electrolytes, and glucose to your muscle cells. These nutrients are vital for muscle repair, growth, and energy production during workouts. Well, hydration is, of course, an essential key aspect of muscle building. Not only is it important in general because you should be intaking a certain amount of water, of course, based on your specific needs. Hydration intake sort of depends on your age. It can depend on, whether you're male or female, depending on sort of who you are, sort of determines your hydration that you need to intake each day. So my hydration, there's an app that I use, and I've mentioned it before, and it's called Water Llama, where you can keep track of your basically your water intake. And that's something that it helps me to keep track of my water intake because water intake is so important not only for just the muscle gain but in general for your body and for your health. And I use it. It's very easy to use. With it you can basically put, how old you are, whether you're male or female, and it sort of determines your hydration intake, what your recommended intake is supposed to be. And it also bases it to whether you're in a hotter or colder climate. That can sort of determine how much hydration you should have as well, or how much water intake you should increase or decrease, basically. So just keep these in mind that hydration is essential for protein synthesis as well as nutrient delivery throughout your body. So, micronutrients, this is the next topic here. And I don't really discuss micronutrients as often as I do macros, but these are just as important. And again, essentially, the difference between these is, of course, they are primarily vitamins and minerals. However, micronutrients are in smaller amounts. They're consumed in smaller amounts, basically, rather than macronutrients, which your body needs in larger amounts. So, certain vitamins are involved in energy metabolism, antioxidant defense, and collagen synthesis, all of which are important for muscle function and repair. Minerals are involved in various physiological processes, including muscle contraction, nerve transmission, and energy metabolism. Antioxidants help protect cells from oxidative stress, which can occur during intense exercise and muscle damage. Electrolytes, electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, and chloride are essential for maintaining fluid balance, nerve function, and muscle contraction. So you likely may already include micronutrients in your daily routine or your diet. So for me, I always take vitamins. I usually take a multivitamin. Of course, you can take individual vitamins. There's different vitamins that you can take. You have vitamin C supplements, vitamin D, any particular vitamin where you sort of lack, that vitamin, whether it be, any sort of thing like calcium, or whether it be, your vitamin C intake, anything like that, you can take various vitamins for those. But again, keep in mind that they are involved in a lot of different things when it comes to metabolism, defense, collagen synthesis, anything of that sort. And that in turn is helping with muscle repair. Now, keep in mind, minerals are a little bit different than vitamins. So, usually, minerals are sort of known as zinc, iron, anything of that sort is kind of classified under minerals. So, they're involved in different various processes in the body, muscle contraction, nerve transmission, and energy metabolism as well. Antioxidants, of course, they protect the cells, which can help with that oxidative stress, the stress that's placed on the body during exercise, and helping with you know protecting the cells from muscle damage and things of that sort. Electrolytes, you can get these from, you've heard of electrolytes before. Anything that's like a sports drink or anything of that sort is where you likely will get electrolytes. So, sort of keep all these micronutrients involved. They can be very beneficial. Are they necessarily essential for the muscle gain, muscle building process? Not in all cases, but they can be a beneficial aspect of it. So, meal prep is the next topic here. So, meal prep, I discussed it a little bit earlier, but meal prep is focused on meal planning for muscle, or we're focusing on meal planning for muscle gain. A meal prep is basically, of course, preparing your meals throughout the week. So this involves structuring your diet to provide the necessary nutrients and energy to support muscle growth and recovery. So this is something that, of course, is a little bit more into detail, and there's more that can be talked about with it. But there's some different things that you can kind of keep in mind if you are deciding to sort of focus on meal prep and prepare meals that are focused on muscle building. So, caloric needs, that's another thing you need to determine. So, determine your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, using an online calculator or, of course, consulting with a nutritionist. To gain muscle, you will need to consume more calories than your body burns in a day. So that's what I usually always mention is a calorie surplus. If you're focusing on muscle building for your goal, then you need to be in that calorie surplus and you need to be consuming more than you're burning. Macro ratios, again, I sort of mentioned this a little bit, that it's going to depend on who you are as a person, your body weight, things of that nature. So your macronutrient intake should typically consist of higher protein, which I mentioned earlier, and moderate to high carbohydrates and moderate fat intake. Common ratio for muscle gain is around 40 to 50% carbohydrates, 25 to 35% protein, and 20 to 30% of fat. So sort of keep that in mind when you're deciding to do a meal prep regimen. Caloric surplus, again, this is what I just mentioned, that when you're focusing on muscle building, this is the main thing you need to focus on with your nutrition. So building muscle effectively, you need to consume more calories than you burn, creating a caloric surplus. Meal planning involves calculating your daily energy requirements, maintenance calories, and consuming slightly more calories than that to support that muscle growth. So this surplus provides the energy needed for intense workouts and the building blocks for muscle repair and growth. So just keep in mind the main thing when it comes to nutrition that you need to focus on is that caloric surplus. That's very essential with your calorie intake. And then from there, you need to focus on your macros. You need to focus on that protein intake primarily, high protein intake, moderate to higher carbohydrate intake, and a moderate fat intake. So, again, going back to protein intake, protein is crucial for muscle repair, as we've just discussed, in growth, and its importance becomes even more pronounced when practicing progressive overload. Progressive overload is another topic, and this is somewhat outside of the nutrition aspect of muscle gain, but I did want to touch on it a little bit. So, as you increase the intensity and volume of your workouts to continually challenge your muscles, your body requires more dietary protein to support the additional muscle protein synthesis needed for recovery and growth. So, therefore, progressively increasing your protein intake as you advance in your training is essential for optimizing muscle building. So, again, I know I've mentioned progressive overload before, but I'm not mentioning it in this case, where protein intake, you can progressively overload the same way you would with your workouts. If you are increasing weight in your workouts and you're burning more calories, That in turn, of course, you're going to have to progressively increase your protein intake at the same time. So keep that in mind that as you start to do more exercise and as you start to build more muscle, you're going to have more nutrients in your body for it to be able to repair and to grow. If you don't have those nutrients, you're not going to see results. So keep in mind that when you know, your body's requiring more energy for exercise, you got to give it more energy to repair. Alrighty, guys. So that's all I have for you today. Again, I hope that you found this helpful and valuable. And I love talking about topics like these, especially when it comes to nutrition and muscle building. That's one of the two things that I like to talk about very often. And I know I mentioned macros a lot. That's another topic I discuss a lot. But the reason why is because it's just as important as any other topic, but it's the most essential part of it. So, again, thank you guys. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you were able to take some notes from this. And I hope that it lets you sort of think about your diet. Think about maybe deciding to do meal prep or deciding to sort of change your calorie intake or deciding to, be aware of progressive overload and increasing your protein intake or your calorie intake based on your energy needs. So, again, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you want to learn more about my online coaching, you can visit bponlinefitness.com. That is my website. I've got a ton of information there. I have a fitness blog there. You can sign up for the email newsletter. And you can also schedule your consultation with me to discuss your fitness goals and to see if you're interested in starting with online coaching. So definitely visit the site. If you do have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me and send me a message. That's totally fine. But thank you guys again. I will have another live stream next week. I'm going to be focusing a little bit on active recovery. So we're going to go back to the fitness aspect of things next week. But I wanted to touch a little bit on nutrition because that's something that I've not really touched on as much here recently. So that's something I wanted to talk about. So thank you guys again for all of your support. I will see you guys again next week at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time in the next live stream. So thank you guys again.